Today, I want to talk about something that has been brought up to me several times throughout the years, but I've never made a video to fully address it, and that is this very nuanced question of why is it that some of our fears physically manifest in our physical realities, and sometimes our fears do not manifest in physical reality. Why is that? What is causing that? Well, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this today. And when I say nitty-gritty, I feel like I need to start this video with the disclaimer that obviously we're going to be talking about fear, negative manifestations today, and I am going to be talking about this in a nuanced way because this is a very nuanced question, but something I've noticed that a lot of you can do with these more intellectual videos, these videos that address nuanced issues, you can take the information that I give you and you accidentally use it to compound even more overthinking in your head, even more fearful thinking in your head. And the whole point of this video is to set yourself free from overthinking, to set yourself free from worrying about if your fears are going to manifest, because I'm going to lay it out so clearly. I just really want you to keep your manifestation process very simple and do not overthink anything I say, but I'll also try to talk about as we go through the video just how to naturally not allow overthinking to bother you. And I'll say just right off the cuff, part of how you don't allow overthinking to affect you or bother you is that you don't take it so seriously. So really, I guess that's the disclaimer of this whole video. Do not take this video seriously in this like fearful, oh my gosh, fears, don't let them manifest, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. Instead, it's like just take note of the simple things I'm gonna say in this video, apply them in simple ways, but keep everything manifestation related in your life very light, very confident, very simple. Just keep it that way. Do not feed fear with fear. The way you combat fear is by injecting lightness, taking it not so seriously. That is a big key here, and we'll get more into it. But I decided to make this video today because I recently got a question from one of you on a video, and I'm gonna read you the question, and then we're just gonna jump right into it and answer it. So the question reads, I have a friend who is in a relationship for 3 years. She's addicted to her boyfriend. She's always afraid that he will leave her or cheat on her, but it doesn't manifest. Instead, her boyfriend wants to propose. I've been trying to manifest my SP for 2 years and it has not yet happened. I'm also addicted to him. I know that I can survive the breakup if I will manifest relationship. Not sure what was meant to be said there, but I can't genuinely say that I'm okay with the thought that 3D may never change and he will always be with someone else. I'm happy for my friend, but why do her fears not manifest and mine do? Okay, this is such a great, nuanced, getting into the weeds of the shadow work we're doing here kind of question, and I like stuff like this. But first and foremost, I have to say, with the information given to me in this comment, having just this information and no other context about this person or this person's friend, there is no possible way that your friend is super insecure in her relationship, constantly afraid that her person is cheating on her. There is no way that that friend of yours is in that kind of state for a prolonged period of time, and that's not manifesting bad things. If your friend really is in that kind of a very addictive, codependent, and insecure state in her relationship is suffering. This is the nature of energy, and especially energy in human relationships. There's no way that one partner for a long period of time can stay in this really messed up, codependent, insecure state, and then the other partner is just totally secure, totally in a healthy love, totally unshakable, and for those two people to stay together. Like, the nature of energy, and again, human dynamics, is that's not what's happening. So even though, again, all I have is the information in the comment, even though on the surface it might look like, oh, well, the boyfriend hasn't left yet, oh, the boyfriend wants to propose, whatever that means, just because on the surface it might look to you like it kind of looks stable, their relationship, I guarantee you there is weird stuff going on behind the scenes in that relationship that you can't see. So I'm saying that as an important reminder to everyone to not compare your internal world to the limited 3D feedback that you're able to see out here in the physical world. Don't compare your insides to someone else's outsides. So I just wanted to start by saying that to debunk the fallacy that some people can maintain this like really bad insecure state and still have this perfect relationship, whereas other people have a similar insecure state but can't attract what they want. It's not the case. There's weird things going on in that relationship. Again, if it is what you said it is, definitely weird stuff is going on. You just can't see it. So keep your eyes on your own paper. Keep your focus on your own state. You are the operant power of yourself. You can only control your own state. It's so tempting to look out at the 3D and compare and be like, oh, well, I think they have this and I don't have that. And all you have to stop doing all that junk. You have to turn towards your higher self, to the divine, to get what you want. The 3D, we only can see a little bit of what's really going on in the 3D. That's why we should not be looking to it to prove stuff, because especially when you are already in an insecure, fearful state yourself, your insecure, fearful ego will translate everything it sees into more proof of itself. Whatever state you're maintaining, it will always find evidence to prove itself. So don't trust your fearful, insecure observations, because of course it's going to find proof that, oh yeah, it's true, I am bad, or I am wrong, or everything's not working out for me. Because if that's what you're believing, that's what you're going to find out there. Okay, so I wanted to answer that kind of specific thing in her question, but now I want to zoom back out and go to this bigger question of why does it appear, emphasis on appear, why does it appear that some fears are manifesting, and why does it appear that some fears are not manifesting in the physical world? So I'm going to say something, and I'm going to say it slowly, and I want you to remember before I say it, we're not going to get triggered by this information that I'm going to say, because I'm going to say it in a way that will explain it. But the first thing I need to say is that if you are really maintaining a fearful state of any kind, it is manifesting in some way. This is already what I was alluding to in that specific example that this commenter brought up in her question. If you are maintaining, emphasis on maintaining, a fear-based state about something, that fear is manifesting towards that thing in some way. But the question is, some people notice that this fear manifests very specifically to match the assumption. And then sometimes people find, again, to go with her example, say you have a really strong, fearful assumption that your partner is cheating on you, but you don't see that's not happening. Well, just because your partner isn't physically cheating on you, that doesn't mean that your fear isn't adversely affecting your relationship in some way. Your fear is manifesting some type of problem in the relationship. It just might not be directly causing that very specific assumption of cheating. So I hope that makes sense. Let's say that same example again in a simple way. Let's say that 10 people are maintaining a fear-based state about their partner cheating on them. And let's say 5 of those people actually do manifest the specific outcome of their partner cheating on them, but the other 5 people, they don't manifest that specific outcome of the partner cheating on them physically, but it does manifest some sort of a negative repercussion in the relationship. And it could be so many things, like the partner just grows more distant, or there's a lack of vulnerability in the relationship, or there's a lack of true intimacy in the relationship, or there's a manifestation of avoidance or conflict in the relationship. There's lots of other ways the energy of that fear is going to manifest. It's not always going to be the direct, specific outcome of the fear of cheating. Okay, so now take a deep breath, because remember what I said before, don't get triggered by this, because even though I said that any maintained fear state is going to manifest in some ways, it's not a big deal. And let's just walk ourselves out of this and let's just explain why it's not a big deal. First of all, remember how I put an emphasis on a maintained state. Something I want you to put into practice so that you can stop manifesting your fears in your reality is to ask yourself this question. In an objective, curious, totally not afraid of the answer way, ask yourself, how long have I been maintaining this fear about XYZ in my reality? Because if you've only been having this fear-based thought or this fear worry energy within you for maybe 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, and then you snapped yourself out of it, well, that's probably not really going to manifest much. But if you've been maintaining a fear-based energy or a fearful assumption for 2 weeks or longer, then yeah, that might be creating some momentum that is going to manifest some sort of result in the physical world. Because with all of our manifestations, it's not just temporarily having one thought about something that manifests it necessarily. It's how often did we return to that state? How often did we really marinate in that state or really take that state seriously and live in some real serious expectation around that state? This is for both positive and negative things. All things are just states. And to clarify even deeper, what do I mean about maintaining a state? Because I think some people are confused about this where they don't know, well, I don't know if I've been maintaining a fearful state or a positive state. I really don't know. A simple way to answer this question is to, again, objectively ask yourself, what have I been taking seriously? Because remember that energy, your energy, it's flowing into and creating what you genuinely take seriously about yourself, what you genuinely take seriously about your life and your relationships and the things you have. So again, if you just have a random thought that's like, oh my gosh, what if my dog gets stolen today? And you can respond to that thought with one, acceptance. And I know that that triggers a lot of people, but what I mean by acceptance is like you're accepting that that's a possibility in reality. But the next step is you are not taking it that seriously, where it's like, yeah, I accept that that's a possibility. Like, yeah, I guess my dog could be stolen today, but I genuinely don't take it that seriously. Like, I'm not really that afraid of it. I'm not really putting that much energy into worrying about it. When we can catch our fear-based thoughts and inject those two things, acceptance and then not taking it that seriously, redirecting focus, we can cut off a fear-based state. And acceptance, as I talk about, is one of those paradoxical, magical elixirs, because when you think a thought like, what if my dog gets stolen today? And then you're like, oh, no, that can't happen. No, 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 just ignore that thought. Just ignore that thought. You're actually, the not accepting of that thought is you actually giving even more power to the fear state. And that's what so many people do when they're manifesting, is they're so afraid of their fear. You're afraid of your fear-based thoughts that you're like, no, 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 don't even think about that. That's so bad. Don't think about that. And you don't even realize you're actually feeding into the fear. You're compounding it. You're giving it more power, because when you react to the thought with this thing of like, oh my God, that's such a huge deal. I could not handle that. That cannot happen. I'll never be okay if that happens. So I'm not even gonna think about it. When you're reacting to it in this very like, oh, that is so much power over me kind of a way, you are obviously giving it more power. You're putting it on that fear pedestal. And so that's why I just have to explain for those of you who maybe you're new to this video, I talk about acceptance of what you don't want a lot, because that's how you neutralize it. You no longer send your energy to it because you're accepting, sure, that's a possibility, but I also don't care. Even if that happened, I really don't care. I don't give power to the idea of that happening as if that's really good or really bad. I'm just sort of like, sure, whatever, it's a possibility, but I don't care. The two things when it comes to stopping fear-based thoughts from manifesting is you're not feeding your energy into it with giving it your power, and you're also not focusing on it, especially not focusing on it in a heavy way. And here's the other thing. If something does manifest, let's say one of your fear-based thoughts does manifest, let's say it manifests in a really specific, direct way, just the way, you know, your brain thought it would, and you proved yourself right by manifesting that cheating or your dog getting stolen or whatever it is. It does not matter, because you no longer let circumstances control you. Now that you're a conscious manifester, you are realizing that this 3D reality is kind of like a video game, or it's like the Matrix. Like, this physical dense world is not the real you. And the things that happen in it are like things that happen in a video game. But when you're in the game, taking the game so seriously, that's when you get really propelled by fear and manifesting all these fears, because you feel like this is all so real and every little circumstance that happens is so big and it's so insurmountable, and you take it so seriously. Being a conscious manifester is you realize, whoa, I don't give the 3D world any power anymore. I'm able to manipulate the 3D world because I realize I'm a divine being. I'm not of this world. I'm in this world. Again, just like someone who goes into a video game world, you're not of that video game world. You're in it, playing a role in it, doing stuff in it, but it's not you. So even if you get, you know, shot in the video game or whatever it is, I actually don't play video games, so I don't know, you know, things happen in video games. You get killed in the video game, You don't take it that seriously because you are not the video game. You're not the character in the game. And as I'm sure you've noticed, those people who do take games too seriously, like people that are playing a game and they are like way too caught up in it as if it's real, don't you notice that they typically start failing and they start getting really emotional about it and they start throwing tantrums in the game and they start dying too much in the game because they stop distinguishing the game from reality. And the reality is that you are above the game. You are greater than the game. You're just someone who's playing the game. And when you stop taking fears about the game of this 3D reality being so serious, like, oh my God, if this happened, I could never go on, this can't happen. When you're maintaining a state like that, well, of course, more and more stuckness is going to happen, or more and more bad things are going to happen, because that's this dominant energy that you're in and that you're really taking seriously. So this is why I also put emphasis on posing this question to you of like, ask yourself, what am I really taking seriously right now? Am I really taking seriously that it's a huge effing deal if XYZ happens, and therefore I'm like, no, XYZ, I don't want that to happen. I'm never gonna think that thought again. Are you that person who's like really taking this way too seriously? Or are you someone who's like, I'm in the world, not of the world. I am a powerful divine being. I am a unique expression of God consciousness, and I can move this world. I can manipulate this world, but only through where my genuine energy is going. So the only thing I'm going to take seriously is the knowing that, yeah, even if something temporarily weird happens, I am not going to freak out about it. I am just going to be like, oh, well, that was a funny little bump in the road in my video game of life. I'm going to keep knowing that I'm moving in the right direction, though. I'm not going to stop and fixate on this bad thing that happened and freak out and just like, what did I do wrong? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to come back within myself, get back aligned in my energy and my knowing of my higher self. And of course, as I always say, you can acknowledge when you're upset. You don't need to pretend like you're upset that you got cheated on or upset that your dog gets stolen. I'm sorry I laughed because I don't know why the two examples I used in this video are like really extreme examples, but they're also real life. You know, those things could happen. So you don't have to pretend like you're not upset if something temporarily bad happens, but you have to see it from a completely different perspective, that it doesn't define you. And it's simply a result of some sort of energy that gained momentum. And all you need to do is acknowledge it, process your feelings around it, but then really go into, okay, what I take seriously now is knowing that everything's going to be okay. That I just know that my dog is fine. This was a misunderstanding. I'm going to get my dog back, whatever it is. Another great antidote to fear is levity, is laughter and lightness. This is also something that I was taught years and years ago, which works so well, is whenever you want to like really cut fear off at the knees, fear dies in the face of levity. It dies in the face of laughter. Fear wants you to take it so seriously. Fear wants to, be that monster under your bed that when you see it, you're just like, oh my God, no, not that. But when you can look the monster in the face and just laugh at it, that's when fear shrinks away. Fear itself is a very insecure energy. Fear wants power and control. And when you can show fear energy that you don't take it that seriously, that you can laugh at it, it is very easily injured by that because, again, fear is in and of itself an insecure energy. So it's very responsive to knowing that it's not being taken seriously in that moment. So levity, laughter, all that is a great way to neutralize the energy of fear. Okay, I think I answered the question. I feel like I was kind of all over the place in this video, which is pretty common for me. I try to address the layers of things, but remember the big question was, why do some things we fear manifest and some things don't? Remember what the bottom line answer is? Any fear state you're maintaining is manifesting in some ways. It's just that mysteriously, sometimes it will manifest the exact circumstance that you were afraid of, but sometimes it will manifest in more sideways ways. But you have to take responsibility that if you're maintaining, again, keyword maintaining, if you're maintaining a fear-based state towards something, it is hindering you in some ways. There's nobody on planet Earth who is a human that's getting a total get out of jail free card. Like, oh, so-and-so over there can maintain a completely insecure, fearful state, and yet everything works out for them. Like, that's not true. It might be manifesting in their lives in another sideways way, that you can't see. Anyone who's maintaining a fear state is being affected by it because you are only ever experiencing your own energy. This is also something I say all the time, I feel like. If you are putting on yourself this energy of fear about something, you are punishing yourself, you're hurting yourself, you're keeping yourself separate, you're affecting yourself in a lot of different ways, and that in and of itself hurts you. It doesn't matter if the 3D is doing something exact that matches how you're hurting yourself or not. What matters is the state that you are self-propelling is what you're experiencing. It's all you're experiencing. This is also partly why circumstances don't matter, because it's never the circumstance itself that does anything to you. It's what energy are you maintaining within yourself around the circumstances of your life. So you can't be putting yourself, holding yourself in a fear energy and not hurting yourself in some way about it. It's not even really about the 3D, what it's doing or not. It's about you hurting yourself in this way by not accepting, I'm actually really loved. I'm actually really safe. Fear, I can laugh at that. I can laugh in the face of fear. I don't take it seriously. I don't punish myself with fear-based, insecure-based thoughts about myself. I have a good self-concept. I don't do that. I treat myself well. Okay, I hope this helped with your ways of relating to fear and your ways of relating to fear manifesting in your reality. Because as I said, bottom line, I don't want you to be taking fear so seriously. That is how you keep feeding it, is when you're like afraid of your fear. Fear feeds and grows off being fed more fear. So this is why acceptance is key, where you're just like, yeah, whatever, that could happen, but whatever, I just don't care. This is also where focus is key, where you're not bringing your focus constantly back to trying to manage fear or worry about fear. And also you're practicing levity around your fear. You're even making jokes to yourself about your old fears or whatever. You're just being in an energy of lightness in the face of fear. Fear is not a big deal. It only becomes a big deal when you make it a big deal. Remember, you're the operant power. You're the one with the energy that gets to decide this is important over here, this is not important over here. You get to give meaning and take it away from anything and everything. You are the operant power that gets to do that. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Please let me know your thoughts, your questions, all of that down in the comments below. If you ask a question that feels like a really good, important one that I should answer for everyone, I might do what I did for this commenter where I'll make a whole video about it. So ask your questions, let me know. Oh, I didn't even introduce myself in this video. Sometimes I do that. I just felt like getting right to the point. If you got a lot of value out of this, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. I also have courses and private coaching options down in the description below. So all the links for all that are down there. Check all that out and I will see you guys in my next video. All right, bye.